Liana, take it away.
Thank you, Michelle. Hi, everybody. My name is Liana. I am the Partner Success and Education Manager here at Jobscan, and it is my pleasure today to introduce you to the tool, or one of our main features of the tool. As we're on Zoom today, I'm a huge fan of Zoom reactions, all of you being camera off and mic off. I'd still love to see that like you're good, you're dialed in, you're great. So if you can give me a thumbs up from the reactions to say that you're good to go, let's get it started. I would love to get this presentation started. Okay, so can I get a thumbs up from everybody? If you can find the reaction on Zoom. Are there reactions here? I'm not sure because this is a webinar. Maybe there isn't one. My bad. We'll leave it at that. You can put in questions in the chat though. I will be taking a look. Michelle will also be taking a look at your questions. So if you did have any questions, feel free to just put it in real time. I want to answer it in real time as well. Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. So JobScan. What is JobScan? JobScan very simply is a tool to help you get more interviews. And how we do that is by helping you to tailor your documentation, your application to a specific company, a specific job description, and a specific applicant tracking system. So let's look a bit at applicant tracking systems and how companies are using it before we get into the tool so that you understand what are technologies that are accessible to recruiters and how they're using it to help influence a decision on whether they're going to invite you to an interview process. Okay, so here we go. Let me just adjust my screen here. So applicant tracking systems, or ATSs as I'll refer to it for the rest of the presentation, is a tool, system, software, algorithm that a company will use to streamline recruitment processes. So a huge company, a huge employer out here for Vancouver, Canada, which is where I am, is a company like Amazon. So a company you might be familiar with. A company like Amazon could receive up to like 2,000 job applications for a single job posting in a single day. 2,000 resumes is a wild number of resumes for a single human recruiter to go through by themselves. So a company like Amazon will utilize an ATS to filter through and review the 2,000 resumes based off of keywords, education, skill set, experiences, and other hiring criteria that the hiring manager has set. Based off that, the ATS generates a report or assessment for the recruiter to say, hi, human recruiter, here are the top 20 candidates from today's pool of applicants. 20 top candidates is a much more manageable number of resumes to review for the human recruiter. From there, they decide who gets to come to the interview process. So that's how companies are utilizing some sort of technology to help them in their recruitment process, okay? Within Fortune 500 companies, almost 100% of companies will utilize an ATS, a CRM, a system tool technology software algorithm to help them with this process. Okay. So that means for you in your job search, if you are going online to a job board and you are going to click on apply to this job, you are more than likely going to come into contact with that applicant tracking system. Okay. So it's going to be impossible for you to avoid completely in your job search, which is why we need to think about how do we make our resume ATS accessible first to pass the ATS to get to the human recruiter to get to the interview process. Okay. Within Fortune 500 companies, these are the most popular ATSs that are in the market. There are over 70 different providers of ATSs and more coming out each day with the accessibility and use of AI now. All these ATSs, CRMs, and systems tools technologies do that sort of same function of making recommendations, running a report for the recruiter, but how they extract that information from your resume will look different from ATS to ATS. So let's take a look at JobScan and how we can help you to tailor your application based off the job description, the keywords in there, and the applicant tracking system that the company is using. Okay. So this is my JobScan profile, which you have access to with your, I think you call it, not your net ID, your student email and your student access point. Okay. So if you're looking for your access on how you can get access to JobScan, you can go to your Career Development Center website and under the resources for resumes and cover letters, this is where you'll get a brief description about JobScan and how you can log in as well. Okay, so just go to JobScan AI Resume Builder, and here is access JobScan through your career link. That's what I meant to say. And then some additional videos here to showcase all of our premium features. Okay, so if you want to play along with me right now, feel free to go here, log in with your career link. And this is what you're going to get access to, this premium account. Okay, so if you're not seeing the lightning bolt with the premium account, go back here, make sure you're accessing JobScan through the correct link. Okay. So with your premium account, you get 6 premium features. That is our resume builder, our job board, our power edit tool, which is our resume optimizer, our cover letter generator, our job tracker, as well as the LinkedIn scanner. Job seekers who utilize all 6 features together see 3 times more interview invitations and 47% less time job searching. So one of those things that we really want to do and help you with is helping you to get application ready faster. Statistically, we do see that your chances of getting an interview increase the sooner you apply to a job. The sweet spot is about the first 48 hours. Like that's a really good spot. But I'm going to give you sort of a real life example, which is my job here. My job here at Jobscan. I had Google Alerts set on for Jobscan because I was familiar with the company. The second I got the alert that the job was open, I applied within the first 2 hours. This job that I'm in right now, this partner success and education manager role, was taken down from the job board, like JobScan's job board, after 6 hours because my recruiter here was so overwhelmed with the amount of applications that he got for this job. So be on high alert always. Have your Google alert set, have your LinkedIn alert set, your Indeed, whatever job boards that provide you alerts, have those on because we want you to be able to get application ready faster to send out those applications. Okay. So I won't have time to go through all 6 premium features today, but we're going to focus on the main one here, which is our Power Edit tool. How do we help to tailor your resume to a specific job, a specific company, and a specific applicant tracking system? Okay. For today, my example is from my dream company, a company I would love to work for, which is Lululemon. Some of you in the audience today will have a dream company that you have been eyeing. So I have Google Alerts set on for Lululemon. And today I'm going to look at like an analyst profile, a data analyst, financial analyst, business analyst, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to show you what information is so critical to help you like optimizing your resume in here, okay? Because you don't need the entire job description. What you really need from any job description is really about what speaks to the experience, the skill set, qualifications of the role that you need. So things like a day in the life of a person in this role, I want that. Qualifications, absolutely. Must-haves, for sure, I want to take that information. If a job posting says nice to have, I might take that information as well to see if I can add any bonus information in my resume to really speak to the nice to have pieces here. Things I don't need from a job description are things like compensation and benefits package. Like it doesn't make sense for me to mention the salary in my resume. Doesn't help me to highlight the skill sets that I will bring to this role. And very much up to you if you wanted to talk about who we are as a company. Like if you wanted to take the about us, the company section. I feel Lululemon's about us, like who we are as description in the job posting is a bit generic. It doesn't speak to being a financial analyst. But if it does say something, mentions a sort of new line of business, a new initiative that they're working on, a new government grant that they receive to work on something specialized for the community, I might take that information in case it's something I can speak to from my own experience. Okay. So let's take an example I want to apply to this job here. From JobScan, what I'm going to do is click New Scan here. And then I'm going to copy paste that job description into this text box here. This is a text box. So if you have not included or forgotten to include some information, you can always add here. If you've added too much, you can always take it out here. And now I'm going to choose a resume to scan against this. In your JobScan Premium profile, you can build resumes from the resume builder and save as many resumes as you like. So I've got resumes for analyst roles, I got product manager roles, roles for specialized for retail companies, things like that. They're all my resume, they're all my experience, all my education, just tweaked a little bit differently for different types of roles in different industries. Because like all of you, you are multifaceted people, you have tons of transferable skills. You are all looking for different types of job titles, not one single job title, right? And sometimes those jobs will sound different or have different job titles depending on industry, correct? So again, your premium profile, you can save as many resumes as you'd like and then pick and choose which one is going to be the most relevant for the job that you are applying for, okay? Or if it's your first time using it, you can always just upload a resume that you have on your desktop within your drive, whatever, okay? So I'm going to choose a resume here to scan against this job description I've taken from Lululemon. 2 options here. I can scan or power edit. And this is just what you have time for. Scan is just going to give me a quick view report of how my resume, raw, unedited, compares against the job description I've uploaded here. So it's just going to give me a quick report. Just, hey, here's the facts here, how you match, how you don't match, what you're missing. That's it, just a report. Power Edit gives me all that same information, but allows me then to edit my resume and then see the change in score of how my resume is being assessed and how that score changes as it compares to the job description itself. So really here, Scan is great for folks who are in between classes right now. Let's say you got the Google alert from Lululemon, a job has come up, you just want to see how you're going to do, right? But you don't actually have time to sit down to actually fix your resume right now or tailor your resume. So Scan is great. So let's see. Let's say I'm between classes right now. I got the Google alert. I've just copy pasted the job description. 51% match. Not terrible. My resume, my base resume, raw, unedited, just the way it is a 51% match with the job description. Great. But what are the things I could be working on? Let's take a look at the Scan report here. Summary. Okay, cool. I don't have a summary section, which is correct. I don't put one in my base resumes because I like to leave that at the end after I have tailored everything. So correct. I need to remember, okay, before I submit this off, I should have a summary in here. What about the hard skills? So analytics is mentioned 3 times in the job description and 0 times in my resume. Okay, I got to keep that at top of mind. Like, all right, I need to mention my analytics skills in here. I need to mention maybe retail. Lululemon is a retail company after all. It's mentioned twice in the job description. Might want to mention my own experience in retail industry and a retail company. That might be beneficial. What about soft skills? Soft skills here, mentioning analytical again. Being organized, so mentioned 1 time in the job description, 0 times in my resume. Might need to change that. Maybe this is all I have time for in between class or on my commute to my part-time job because I don't have time to sit down right now to actually edit it. Once I've pressed the Scan button, it is saved in my profile here so I can pick up where I left off. And then I can go straight to Power Edit. Once I am happy, like once I'm done my classes, I'm at the library now. I found myself a desk. I can pull up my laptop. Now I'm ready to edit. So when I go to Power Edit here is where we're going to do the bulk of the work for optimizing for Lululemon. Okay, so here's my resume. So now we actually see my resume in its raw form, right? It is again being assessed against the job description we've uploaded. And all of these green highlights in here, green highlights or underlines, are key skills from my resume that match with the job description that contributes to that match rate of 51. This 51 here is only an assessment of your resume in the way that it's currently written. I want to be very clear with everyone here that this is not a reflection of you as a candidate, a reflection of you as a person, reflection of how qualified you are for this role. That's not that at all. Like, don't take this personally. I know some of you will see a low score as well in your first couple scans and then think, oh, this is a failing grade. Like, why would I even apply for this job? I'm so underqualified. Thank you. Next, you check out the application. That's not at all what we're trying to communicate here. We're just trying to give you a sense of your jumping off point. This is where we're starting, and it's only up from here. Okay, so let's see all the things we can do to help to increase the score here. So we increase our chances at passing the ATS to get to the human recruiter, to get to the interview process. Okay, so first things first, I want to be able to feed Jobscan with enough information about where I got this job from. And that's up here, updating job information. So I'm going to say what company it's from. That's from Lululemon. What is the job title? It does try to make an assumption of the job title based off the things you put in the job description. So for here, I want to do data analyst. And very importantly, I want to put in the URL for where I got this job from, okay? So that's here. This is the job posting, that URL here, careers.lululemon.com. That's exactly the URL that I want, careers.lululemon.com, okay? And it updates details and it reassesses my score based off the ATS we've identified. So once you put in sort of all the information about like the company information in here, Jobscan updates itself, identifies what ATS Lululemon uses, and then adjusts its assessment criteria to mimic that ATS. And sometimes that's why you'll see a change in score here. So my score did change because it readjusted its assessment criteria based off Lululemon's ATS. And how we learn more about that is in searchability, which is why we put it at the top. We want it to be the first thing that you click on for you to read through. Okay, so here, let me zoom in. Oops, too much. All right. Searchability here talks about the ATS that's been identified. So because I put in careers.lululemon.com, we've identified that Taleo is the ATS that's being used by Lululemon. So, and then we give you all of this information about what Taleo does or doesn't do as it assesses your resume. Taleo recognizes only exact keywords. So the way it's written in the job description is the way it's looking for it in your resume. Taleo does not recognize common abbreviations. So for any of you with specialized certificates or utilizing specialized systems, tool, machinery, softwares, things like that, whatever there is a common abbreviation for an ATS, that, for a piece of technology, lines of code that reads through your resume, it's in your best interest to fully type it out. Certified public accountant in brackets CPA, because a human recruiter can see CPA and think accountant, amazing, right? CPA to Taleo, a piece of software, could just be 3 random letters together, okay? So, certified public accountant in brackets CPA is your best bet. Okay, Taleo does not correctly parse flowcharts. So for any of you wanting to flex some creativity to showcase some a table, a bar chart, a line chart, things like that, that's great for a human recruiter to see some sort of creativity, to showcase your data visualization skills, to showcase your proficiency in skills, things like that. That's great. For Taleo, again, as a piece of software, a piece of technology, it cannot infer what you are trying to communicate from a picture. It cannot read pictures, it cannot process pictures, so it's just wasted space on your resume. So for ATSs, keep it to text. It is the most accessible format for it to extract information from your resume, okay? And Taleo does not recognize different tenses, abbreviations, or acronyms of skills and keywords. So for Taleo, there's a difference between client service and client services. There's a difference between sports marketing and sports marketer. So I'm going to show you how that sensitivity and particularness will help to impact your score as you edit your resume, okay? So let's see here. I'm going to minimize this so you can see my resume here in full. So let's see this first bullet point in here, right? Implemented new standards for analyzing data. Right? It's a financial analyst role. Analyzing data is highlighted green. So it matches from my resume with something mentioned in the job description. Wonderful. Let's say for myself as a applicant, I want to change this to data analysis because I just like the way it sounds better. Instead of implemented new standards for analyzing data, I want to say implemented new standards for data analysis. Sounds more professional. So in this Power Edit interface here, you can click in to edit any of the bullet points and any of the information that's in your resume here. So let me change that here from analyzing data to data analysis. Now, before I click enter, you and I can all acknowledge that this doesn't change the meaning of this bullet point at all. I'm still communicating the same skill, but does it mean the same thing to Taleo? Let's see. So as I click out, it's going to save. My score has now dropped to a 58. I have lost 1 point, and data analysis is no longer highlighted green. And that's because Taleo is looking for the keyword analyzing data, not data analysis. So that's why I have lost 1 point. There's 2 different things to Taleo, okay? So let me get that point back here. Going back to analyzing data. And let's see what happens. Back to a 59, analyzing data highlighted green and underlined again, okay? I'm going to pause here quickly to check in. Any questions so far about applicant tracking systems or getting to the scan interface of Jobscan?
We don't have any questions in the chat so far, but if anybody has any questions, now would be a great time to ask.
Feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like, or if you'd like me to repeat myself to showcase how I got here, please let me know. If not, I'll keep rolling. I'll keep rolling for now. But if you did have questions, feel free to put it in the chat, okay? So main question I get after this showcasing so that everything that's in searchability is great, cool, Leanna, thank you so much. I will be mindful of my spelling, my grammatical structure, the vocabulary I'm using. But what are the things I'm missing? What are the gaps? So if you didn't go through your scan and didn't see the scan report and you jumped right into Power Edit, which is an option for you, all of that information about what you're missing is here in hard skills and soft skills, okay? So mechanics of this will work the same. So because of our time today, we'll showcase in hard skills. Hard skills, as you can imagine, is a sort of just a menu, a list for you to show you the hard skills we've pulled from the job description. Everything that has a green check mark here means you're good. We can see it in your resume. Done. It is contributing to your score right here. Everything in red are your opportunities to add into your resume. Now, the goal isn't to add every single one because, it's going to be impossible for you to be able to speak to every single skill that is mentioned into the job description. There's no such thing as a perfect candidate. So perfection is not the goal here. It is just to increase the score here to increase our chances at passing the ATS, right? So whatever you can speak to, let's add into there. So things like, let's say PowerPoint as a software that I know how to use. I don't want to necessarily waste a bullet point on that, but I know it's a thing that Lululemon is looking for. Let's say for again an analyst role, they're definitely looking for Microsoft Excel. They're gonna know I know how to use Microsoft Excel because it is a financial analyst role. Of course, I'm gonna know how to use Excel. I'm not wasting a bullet point on it. I'm gonna put it in core skills. So for PowerPoint as well, I just want to put it in core skills. I'm gonna use this button here, chuck it into the core skills section. My score is updated to a 60. PowerPoint is now highlighted green. Perfect. Great. I can add a couple more things. Let's say other software, some programming languages maybe that I know, right? Cool. Let's say I want to add a bullet point though. I want something that I can elaborate on here. So things like, let's say we talk about management information systems. If I need help with writing sort of a bullet point, because for me personally, I do. I'm not confident with my writing skills at all. Don't ask me to write an essay. Writing cover letters also just like such a big headache for myself. My strength is definitely speaking to people, like being in front of people, showcasing things. I'm more comfortable that way. So for myself, I need help with writing. I can click on a missing key skill or hard skill in here, and through our AI capabilities, we will generate 3 suggested phrases on how you can incorporate this skill into your resume based off what's already in here. So Jobscan can already see that like being an analyst is part of my profile. So everything in here, all of my suggestions will mention data analysis in some capacity. So between all of us in the room here, if we all had the same missing hard skill but had different experiences, our suggestions will all be different. So let's see here. If I like this one, I can click on it to get copied. And then I can just paste it wherever I like. And I will minimize this quickly just so you can see my hard skill, my score update immediately. Up to a 62, management information systems now highlighted green. So what I'll say about this is AI is really helpful as a tool to move things along. Again, we want to get application ready faster, right? We want to get help to speed things along. So this will speed things along for us. But as ethical human beings, it is still our responsibility to make sure that whatever AI has generated for us is an accurate reflection of our experience. I'm not encouraging anyone to lie on their resume. But again, like for folks who are self-conscious about their writing skills, like myself, like this is a great way to showcase like the good vocabulary, grammar, structure that is needed to communicate this skill, especially since we know Taleo and ATSs can be so particular about sentence structure, grammatical structure, things like that. Okay. So go through hard skills, go through your soft skills as well, see what else you're missing, add the things that you're missing that you can speak to. If you ever needed ways to help to rephrase something, just click on the bullet point here. We have a magical wand here that help you rephrase something again to give you different sources of inspiration on how, what a good bullet point will look like for for communicating this skill in here. So searchability, hard skills, and soft skills here, these 3 areas are the main areas that will help you to improve your score. The score that we recommend is 75%. 75%, we say like it's a good, really good, solid resume here. And that's sort of like enough to sort of move you or like to communicate as best as you can, like a good, solid chance to get attention from the recruiter. I will say there's no guarantees in this world. So again, the goal is not 100% and 100% does not guarantee you an interview. There are a lot of things outside your resume that will influence a recruiter's ability to invite you to an interview. Sometimes it's just the speed of interviewing. Like if they needed somebody hired yesterday, they will need a candidate that's available right now. So if you are not available right now, maybe they might not interview you. Maybe some of this requires some sort of driving. If you don't have a car, if you don't have your license, maybe some of them require you to be in the office. If you live too far away, that might influence their decision as well. So whatever you can control, which is the content in your resume, that is what we have control over. We recommend 75% is being a good solid resume. Okay. So if you're happy with this resume here, you can download it as a PDF or a Word doc. We do recommend PDFs. PDFs are the most accessible format for all ATSs. Not all ATSs will accept Word documents. Also, depending on the version of Microsoft Word that you are using, if you're using like your library computer, things like that, depending on when they last updated their software, if you submit an old version of like Microsoft Word, like 97 or something, it will be a corrupted file for the recruiter. In a lot of ATSs, a recruiter is not going to, unlikely to reach out to you to say, hey, you submitted a corrupted file. Do you mind just resubmitting your application? Because they will have so many other applications to go through. So, in your best interest to always submit as a PDF. Okay. And if you really like this resume, this star right here is where you can save this now as a new base resume so that you can work off this version of this resume for your next scan. Okay, so this can be like my new base financial analyst 2.0. And this will now become an option for myself for later when I'm applying to other financial analyst roles down the line. Okay. So those are those options there for you in terms of creating your resume. All right. There's more I can talk about. There are many other features again on Jobscan. Within our resume optimizer here, we do have recruiter tips, which are just purely suggestions from recruiters. This will not impact your score, but it's a great idea to see what are recruiters actually interested in seeing from my resume here. Okay. We have an amazing cover letter generator for you that kind of sets up the tone for you to talk about your technical skills, but you still have to be the one to take it across the finish line to fill in all the gaps about your personality, how you interpersonally connect with the company's vision, mission, values, culture. Okay, we have a job tracker for you to help you keep track of all of the things that you are applying to. Okay, so all the jobs that you're interested in, apply to, you're interviewing for, as well as a LinkedIn optimizer. In your job search, we know that it's not just about your resume, it's not just about the cover letter. You have to do a lot to, as a job seeker, to put yourself out there. LinkedIn is one of those areas where it's going to be valuable for you to get that attention from recruiters. 94% of recruiters will go to your LinkedIn profile to vet you as a candidate, and 87% of recruiters utilize LinkedIn as a sourcing tool. So it's very valuable for you to have a presence on LinkedIn, which is why we have a LinkedIn optimization tool to help you build a profile that is going to be very attractive to recruiters. Okay, so that's my time here. Back to you, Michelle.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Liana, for being here today. Everyone, sorry, my video is all fuzzy, if I didn't say that earlier. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.